Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy is one of my favourite games on the PlayStation 2, but there's far too much gory combat in this game. So we're taking the old saying, violence isn't the answer, to the extreme. Can you beat Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, without defeating enemies? It's never too late to diversify your game lineup. Now, we'll just need to quickly go over what being a pacifist really entails. We can tell an enemy has been defeated because it will drop green eco, the world's life source. This includes bosses too. We can do absolutely everything else in the game so long as it doesn't harm an enemy. On top of that, we have a bonus challenge too. We will be trying to get as many power cells and precursor orbs as we can, trying to get as close to 100% as possible. And really quick, if you want to see a specific challenge run, let me know in the comments below. I read all suggestions, and if I like the idea, I may just make a video on it. Just to sum up the rules, we cannot defeat an enemy, and for the bonus challenge, we must try to get as close to 100% as possible. Jak and Daxter, pre-animal that is, are both exploring the dangerous Misty Island, and Daxter gets thrown into a vat of dark eco. They turn to the Elder Samos for guidance, which he certainly does give.
In my professional opinion, the change is an improvement.
And we jump into the tutorial on Geyser Rock. This level is absolutely fine, there's not a single enemy here. I did refrain from destroying the targets here just in case, but I mean, they aren't alive, this isn't Skyrim. This means that we can collect all 4 power cells and 50 precursor orbs in Geyser Rock, fully 100%ing it. We jump back through the portal and now we're off to explore the world. We will need 20 power cells to proceed through Fire Canyon and unlock more levels. For now, we explore the village, and Daxter gets completely verbally abused, but it's fine, he can dish that right back.
Oh my, what a horribly sick little bird.
You don't look so good yourself, lady!
A quick side note, every level in this game will have 7 scout flies. After collecting them, we will receive a power cell. All the other power cells in the village come directly from purchasing them from residents. 1 power cell for 90 orbs. The statues also sell 2 power cells, but these are priced at 120 orbs each. Is there a reason? Is that ever explained anyway? I did lie just a second ago. In Sandover Village there is 1 more power cell to obtain. If we can get these cows into the pen, the farmer will give us a power cell for doing so. We will be returning here after collecting all the precursor orbs we can, but for now we do collect all the orbs in Sandover Village. The Forbidden Jungle is the first level in the game with enemies. It's mostly these annoying tentacle things coming from the ground. However, there are a lot of snakes that give us jump scares, and lurkers too. We will be running into lurkers quite a bit in this game. Most enemies can be avoided as this is a starting level. We meet the fisherman, and after collecting 200 fish in a river, he gives us permission to use his boat and a power cell. Where will that boat take us? Misty Island, where Daxter turned into, this. But we aren't finished here just yet. We can collect all the scout flies to get another power cell here. Now, this is the first major inaccessible area of the game. There's a temple in the middle of this level which we enter by collecting the power cell on top of it. This isn't the issue. It will then proceed to trap us inside the temple with lots of precursor orbs to collect and 2 power cells. This is also not an issue, but the only way to get out is by defeating this boss. There is no other way out, and as such, these 2 power cells are unobtainable. Even worse, since we can't come down to the temple, we can't reactivate the blue eco vent in Sentinel Beach, locking that other power cell too. We can collect the other power cells here though. We collect the few strays and reconnect the eco energy beam to the village, giving us a total of 6 power cells out of 8 power cells for the Forbidden Jungle. We reach the beach, and this level is luckily not as restricted as the Forbidden Jungle. This is a wide open beach with very few enemies for us to worry about. Now, the big concern is this pelican. He steals a power cell on the beach. Hitting him in his nest will force him to spit it out. Now, this doesn't really damage him and he's not an enemy, so to say, but I didn't want to get too iffy with the rule set, so I'm not going to allow this. Hitting someone might not be murder, but it is assault. out. The rest of the power cells are okay. We do need to punch this egg down, but it is made clear with the context that this doesn't hurt little Flut Flut, who seems to take a liking to Daxter.
Oh no! No, 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 no!
The scout flies are also easy to collect here too. You just need to punch these logs, but that's okay. They don't have rights. Now, remember about 2 minutes ago when I said that the Sentinel Beach power cell was locked? Well, with funny collision detection, we can swim right up to the lighthouse thing and jump onto these rocks. If you can time a spin jump correctly, you can then make it onto the ledge here. Timing this next jump is pretty tricky, but we can jump from the window to on top of it, and then get to the very top here. Now, unfortunately, I didn't lie, because to collect this power cell, we do need to defeat an enemy. Whoops. This does leave us with 6 out of 8 power cells for Sentinel Beach. We head to Misty Island. This is the hardest of the opening levels. Lots of tough enemies and lots of jumping. We begin by collecting the Muse. This is a lot harder than a normal playthrough. We have a lot of enemies on the path which we need to avoid. We do collect the Muse, and Daxter seems a tad jealous. We can use the zoomer on the water here. This is a power cell we cannot get, however. We would normally need to destroy lurker mines here, but that requires us to defeat those lurkers. Obviously, we cannot do that. There is, however, a scout fly and an extra power cell here we can get, along with a lot of orbs. We've got the first of our few combat required power cells here. A few times in the game, you'll be locked in a room while being ambushed, needing to defeat all the enemies coming in. Now, I did lie just a second ago. We can just about get this power cell another way. You see, there's another power cell located just above this one. It's another one of those cannon ones like at Sentinel Beach. Again, like that area, we cannot get this power cell due to us needing to defeat the group of enemies to get it to spawn in. But from this position, we can jump off the side and spin kick to land at the power cell just after the ambush. The ambush will still happen, but before reloading a save point, we can aggro the cannon to destroy these metal crates, giving us the precious precursor orbs inside. We collect the final scout flies and power cells, and collect a total of 6 out of 8 for Misty Island. We go back to Sandover Village to exchange our 477 orbs for power cells. We just barely have enough to cover them, with only 57 remaining afterwards. We have now collected all 6 power cells in Sandover Village, with our grand total of 28 out of 34, which is an 82% clear rate as we head off to Act 2 of the game. With our 20 power cells, Kira has created a heat shield for our zoomer. So long as we keep hitting the cooling balloons located in this level, we won't explode. There are a few lurkers in this level which will make collecting the scout flies and orbs a little bit more difficult, as we need to go very fast or else, you know. Boom. But hey, this level isn't too bad. We collect both of the 2 power cells and all of the orbs in Fire Canyon. We then activate the teleporter room in the Blue Sage's lab, allowing Kira and Samos safe passage. We're going to need a total of 45 power cells to proceed to Act 3 of the game, so we need to start collecting. We first collect the 7 scout flies and get a quick power cell. While doing this, we collect the 50 orbs to then trade to the warrior to fully unlock the hub world, before realising it also gives us another power cell. I'm not complaining. We can also pick up some quests from the geologist and the gambler. We have now collected 2 of 6 power cells, but like Sandover Village, we will be back here for the rest when we have all the orbs. The basin is up first, and this is an exclusive zoomer level. Now, immediately, there is one of the power cells here that will be 100% impossible, and that's because we need to destroy some of the lurkers on bikes. This is similar to the one on Misty Island, and obviously we cannot damage these lurkers, making us unable to acquire their power cell. But it isn't too bad. Other than the lurkers, there aren't too many enemies for us to avoid here. We can even finish the geologist's mission and get these rats back to their nest. As you don't actually have to hit them, you can just guide them back to that nest. This gives us another power cell. The most difficult power cells here are the pink and blue rings, where we have to race around the basin. these races aren't much harder than normal, as the lurkers need to be followed to be defeated. Speaking of racing, the Gambler's mission does have a few lurkers in it. Luckily, they aren't too difficult to avoid, so just keep an eye out. We finish by collecting 7 out of 8 power cells in the Precursor Basin. We then proceed to possibly my least favourite level in the game, the Lost Precursor City. This is a level of corridors and small open rooms. It also has quite a few enemies, and due to its closed level design, this level is pretty tough. The first thing we need to make constant use of are these couple platform things. They will remain in the air constantly, and you can move them quite easily. This allows us to remain above the enemies while collecting our stuff. The toughest power cell is this one with the platforms. There's a pufferfish guy that will be chasing us constantly. We need to stand on all the platforms and end up next to the door. Due to the hyper focus I had on avoiding the pufferfish, I ended up screwing up and needing to go back and retrace my steps. But regardless, we still get it. When sliding down these areas, make sure to break open the metal crates, as they have orbs inside them. In this final area, we hit a button, and then the dark eco will rise, while we need to platform up. This climb also has a few enemies that we need to rush past. Something that will make this section a lot easier is just don't press the button. You can do a roll jump and just skip the button, not activating the dark eco rise. This makes it a lot easier, as you can just take your time. With the rise to the surface, we have now collected all 8 power cells. Boggy Swamp is probably the hardest level yet. This level introduces yellow eco, which allows us to shoot a blast of energy from a punch. This does lock onto anything in its path. We need to use this power to get some power cells and precursor orbs, so it's very important to be aware of any enemies nearby. The bats are also really annoying, as they move very quickly. To destroy the tethers, what I did was enter first person mode with triangle. This will allow you to aim the shot from range, so it doesn't hit any of the enemies that may be nearby it. For the few collectibles where you get trapped, simply dying after you collect the things will take you back to the main area and save the collectibles. We even get a section with Flut Flut. Now, there are 2 power cells here that are completely impossible. The first is another ambush area, just like in Misty Island. Unlike that area, the power cell here will only spawn in after the ambush is finished, so that's a no-go. The other is the minigame, where you need to shoot the rats. Obviously, shooting rats isn't allowed, and as such, we can't get this power cell either. With the final tether destroyed, we get the last obtainable power cell, leaving the swamp with 6 power cells. We return to Rock Village. After collecting every precursor orb in Act 2, we can buy the rest of the power cells, and now we have all 6 power cells in Rock Village, with the total acquirable for Act 2 being 29 out of 32. We take our 57 power cells and we power up the Blue Sage's machine and open the path ahead. In the opening to Act 3, we need to fight Claw. This is an area surrounded by lava. Now, in a normal run, you'd need to fight Claw and get a power cell, but obviously for us, that's not a possibility. Luckily, we have a no-brainer solution. Jump into the lava. When you respawn, leave the area immediately and go to this rock in Boggy Swamp. Hold circle for exactly 30 seconds and watch reality crumble around you. Jak will then respawn at the checkpoint directly after the Claw boss fight. But we aren't finished just yet. We now need to race the 3 lurkers through the pass before they detonate it. This is difficult, especially when collecting the scout flies and orbs at the same time. But near the end, there is a big issue. To continue on, we need to defeat this enemy. There is no way around this guy either. But I'm going to tell you that this is not an enemy. Yeah, that's right, I'm making the claim that this guy right here isn't an enemy. He doesn't interact with us in any way, and when he does explode, he doesn't drop green eco, like every other enemy in the game. With both of these in mind, we keep going, but we'll keep this guy in our head just in case. With the completion of Mountain Pass, we get 2 out of 4 power cells. We reach the Red Sage's lab in the volcanic crater, where it's revealed that Gol and Maya are attempting to control the Dark Eco to take over the world, and Daxter seems to take the news pretty well.
I'm doomed.
To reach the final level, we're going to need a staggering 72 power cells. We make a good start on the Scout Fly's power cell, and collect some yellow eco from the beginning of the Spider Caves level to blow up a box, giving us yet another power cell. The other 6 power cells in this level will need to be bought. This will require a total of 560 Precursor orbs, but for now we have 2 out of 8 power cells. We travel just a little bit up from the steaming active volcano and reach Snowy Mountain, the icy winter level of the game, complete with ice physics. Great. Honestly, this level isn't too hard. We turn on the yellow eco vents, which only requires a bit of platforming. There is a power cell here that is completely impossible, however, and that is the one power cell collected from defeating the enemies operating these things. But every other power cell is completely obtainable, even including this one with hundreds of enemies. We just need to get past them. This did take a few tries, but I was able to move between them and abuse the invincibility frames to make it past, collecting the power cell here too. The only other power cells are another Flut platforming section and the Fortress power cell, both of which are pretty easy to get. We finished Snowy Mountain with 7 out of 8 power cells. We really quickly go back to the mountain pass now that the yellow eco vent is active. This allows us to get 1 more power cell, getting 3 out of 4 power cells for Mountain Pass. Spider Caves is widely considered to be the hardest level in the game, and I'm not going to argue with that. It's big, looks the same, and has so many tiny hidden areas. Getting every Precursor orb here isn't possible, as the big worm enemies drop some, so we're going to have to explore every corner of this level to make sure we aren't missing any. Speaking of the worm guys, the power cell we get for defeating them is not possible to get, but you already knew that. Other than that though, everything else is possible to obtain. We can destroy the dark eco crystals very easily, and can also find the Scout Flies too, though it does take a while, as I always seem to forget the layout of this level. The toughest power cell for me at least was to climb the giant robot. This was more due to me overthinking the jumps near the enemies, so you should be fine. The spider nest is actually one of the easiest power cells in the game. Just rush to the metal crates to get the orbs, and then make a dash for the power cell, and there you go. We are leaving having collected 7 out of 8 power cells for Spider Caves. We return back to the volcanic crater with a total of 732 Precursor orbs, and we're now going to buy every single power cell here, and it costs us a staggering 560. This gives us a total of 25 out of 28 power cells in Act 3, an incredible total of 82 so far, and so we can proceed into the final act of the game. This ends up with us leaving Volcanic Crater with 8 out of 8 power cells. With all our power cells, Kira boosts our Zoomer's heat shield. We can now pass through the lava tubes. Just take care not to be slow. There shockingly isn't a single enemy in this level, though I guess this level is taking place on top of a literal volcano. Collecting the Scout Flies is pretty easy too. We of course collect both of the power cells here. We reach the end of the tubes to find out that Samos has been kidnapped too. We immediately find Samos, who is not in a joking mood.
Do they have you mopping the floors now?
There's no time for jokes, Daxter.
Now that we have started this level, there is only one thing for us to do. Yeah, we can skip right to the end of the level. Do note that this only applies to the first original print of the game. Now, this is a bit difficult, but we can jump down to a sage, collect his power cell, and reload the save point. Doing this correctly will save the power cell, but because we haven't actually hit another checkpoint, will spawn us back to the top of the map, letting us repeat this to collect all the power cells. However, we will leave Samos's run for now, and we jump right back down there to do the level legit. There's still Scout Flies and orbs down there, friends. Now, you might quite rightly ask why we even did all that effort if we're just going to play the level normally, and the answer is this. We cannot complete this section of the level without also defeating all the enemies, stopping us from reaching the sage and also finishing the game. Collecting the stray orbs will take a while, but shockingly nothing stops us. Even when we cannot progress any further, like in this one instance, there aren't orbs past that point. It's almost like the developers knew we'd do this. So yes, we can collect all the orbs, and we can also collect the scout flies, giving us the final power cell. This does mean that we can 100% the final level, getting all 5 power cells and all 200 precursor orbs. We then climb back up to 3 Samos. It's time for the final boss, which we cannot do, but not for the reason you'd think. They actually spawn in enemies in the first phase, and these guys are 100% enemies, even dropping green eco. So with that, the challenge has officially grounded to a halt, and right at the final boss too. I guess this robot is just gonna chill here for the rest of time. So for the summary, we are only missing 12 power cells in this run. 2 of them are in Sentinel Beach, 1 locked behind defeating an enemy, and the other behind the Pelican, which may or may not count. 2 are in the Temple of the Forbidden Jungle, which we do need to defeat a boss to leave. 2 are on Misty Island, locked behind defeating enemies too. 2 are in the swamp, 1 being a minigame and the other behind an ambush. 1 power cell is in the Precursor Basin, needing us to chase down and defeat lurkers. 1 is locked behind actually defeating Claw, which is obviously not possible. 1 is in Snowy Mountain for defeating enemies on the devices, and the final locked power cell is in the Spider Caves, requiring us to use yellow eco to defeat worms. All in all, I'd say 89 power cells out of 101 and 1912 precursor orbs out of 2000 is a pretty good score. And with that, the Jak and Daxter Pacifist Challenge is complete. Thank you to all YouTube members, I appreciate every single one of you. A specific thank you to Al Gore, Bento Baker Primordius, Friendly Neighborhood Lurker, Invigil, Multibrad X, No One, VenderGames012 on YTB, _XXPitters98XX_, and thank you for watching the full video.